Namaste, viewers. Welcome to Abhi Talks, where we tackle pressing societal issues. Today's topic is corruption in India. This pervasive problem has left its mark on our beloved nation, seeping into various aspects of our daily lives. But why is corruption so rampant in India? This question, along with many others, will be the focus of our discussion today. We'll also delve into where corruption manifests itself in our lives, the various forms it takes, and the consequences that follow. But the discussion doesn't stop there. We'll also explore how we can combat and eradicate this deeply rooted problem. These questions are not just for us to ponder, but for all of us to work together to find solutions. But before we explore these questions, we must understand the background of corruption in India and its evolution. So let's dive in and unravel the story of corruption in our country. India, rich in history and culture, has unfortunately been marred by corruption. This issue dates back from the pre-independence era to our present day. Corruption, as we know it, has been a pervasive force in India's socio-political fabric for centuries. Its roots run deep, stretching back to the days of imperial rule. The British East India Company, with its unchecked power and authority, exploited India's wealth and resources, setting an unfortunate precedent of corruption and misuse of power. Following independence in 1947, the hope was that a democratic system would eradicate such issues. However, the complexity of India's bureaucratic system, coupled with socio-economic disparities, only allowed for corruption to fester. The 1960s and 70s saw widespread corruption in public offices, with bribery becoming a common practice. This was a period when corruption started to become normalized, seeping into the everyday lives of the common people. The 90s brought about a significant shift. Economic liberalization opened new doors, leading to an influx of foreign investments and rapid industrial growth. But this period also witnessed a surge in high-profile corruption cases. The liberalization, while bringing economic prosperity, also introduced new avenues for corruption, particularly in sectors like real estate, telecommunications, and defense. In the 21st century, corruption has taken on more covert forms, with money laundering and illicit financial flows becoming increasingly prevalent. The digitization of services, while aimed at reducing corruption, has also presented new challenges in the form of cybercrimes and online frauds. Despite numerous anti-corruption laws and agencies, the issue persists, largely due to a lack of stringent enforcement and accountability. The fight against corruption is further hampered by a slow judicial process and the widespread acceptance of corruption as a necessary evil. As we look at India today, we see a nation grappling with the consequences of this deeply ingrained corruption. It is a problem that affects all aspects of society, from the economy to the delivery of basic public services. Understanding the roots of corruption helps us comprehend the current situation better. It also allows us to strategize effectively to combat this menace and strive towards a corruption-free India. Now let's address the questions we initially posed about corruption. Starting with the first question, what is corruption? Corruption is the misuse of entrusted power for personal gain. It's a pervasive issue that manifests in various forms, such as bribery, embezzlement, nepotism, and many others. It's like a chameleon, constantly changing its form to adapt to the environment. Moving on to the second question, where does corruption prevail? Corruption is not confined to a particular sector or area. It's like a weed that grows everywhere, pervading all levels of society. It seeps into public services, influences businesses, and even infiltrates politics. From the grassroots to the highest echelons of power, no place is immune. Now, to the third question, when did corruption become a significant issue in India? Corruption has deep historical roots in our country. However, it gained prominence in modern India due to economic liberalization in the 1990s. This period opened doors to new avenues of corruption, making it a more visible and pressing issue. Next, we ask, why is corruption so rampant? Several factors contribute to the prevalence of corruption. These include poverty, weak institutions, lack of accountability, and a complex bureaucratic system. It's like a tree with many roots, each one feeding into the problem, making it harder to eradicate. Finally, we ponder, how can we combat corruption? Combating corruption requires a multifaceted approach. We need legal reforms to close loopholes, transparency to shed light on shady dealings, public awareness to empower citizens, and stringent punishment to deter potential offenders. It's like fighting a many-headed beast. We need to tackle all aspects simultaneously. These answers provide an overview of the corruption landscape in India. However, to fully grasp the issue, we need to delve into research data and news articles. To deepen our understanding of corruption in India, let's examine some relevant research data and newspaper articles. In the Transparency International's Corruption Perceptions Index, India ranked 86th out of 180 countries in 2023. This index measures perceived levels of public sector corruption, indicating that corruption remains a significant issue in our country. Let's turn to a study conducted by the Center for Media Studies. They estimated that nearly 1 in 2 Indian households paid a bribe in the last 12 months, with most bribes paid for public services such as utilities and property registration. Moreover, a report by Global Financial Integrity stated that India lost a staggering $22 billion annually to illegal outflows, largely driven by corruption, crime, and tax evasion. This astronomical sum could have been invested in infrastructure, education, healthcare, and other vital sectors. Referencing newspaper articles, a headline from the Hindustan Times read, "Corruption in India, an endemic or a pandemic," reflecting the widespread nature of the issue. Another from the Economic Times highlighted the link between corruption and poverty, stating, "Corruption, the biggest reason for the downfall of most empires and civilizations." These figures and stories paint a grim picture, but they also arm us with knowledge that can fuel our fight against corruption, knowledge that can guide our actions towards a better, more transparent India. By analyzing these aspects, we can comprehend the gravity of the situation and work towards a corruption-free India. It's crucial to stay informed and engage in conversations that can lead to positive change. Our collective efforts can help uproot corruption from its deep-seated place in our society. By staying vigilant, demanding transparency, and promoting accountability, we can pave the path towards a corruption-free India. Remember, change begins at home, so let's start today. Thank you for joining Abhi Talks today. If you found this information valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Together, we can make a difference.